Hello my likable friend, I hope you're doing well. It's Yoshi here. In today's class, we are going to implement the Nano Project.
1. Create a simple HTML file.
Alright, let's go to the project description.
The item 1 says, create a HTML file in VS Code. The file name should be page01.html. The second item says, the content when you open it in a browser should be 4 lines with some content and 3 blank lines. So, when you open your file in a browser, it should look like this. Take a look, where are the likable blank lines? The last item says, some content of the HTML file should not be visible when you open it in a browser.
Now, let's get hands-on.
That's nice. The first thing, we should launch VS Code and then go to the Explorer button. As it's open, the next step is creating our first HTML file. It can be done by clicking on this icon here, New File, or right-click inside the Explorer and New File. There's a third way. You can go to the File menu and then New File. If you like using hotkeys, just look at the hotkey on the menu. Let's click here to create a new file and then page01.html. That was the required name, right? If the extension is correct, .html, you're going to see this icon beside the file's name on the editor and on the Explorer window.
Nice! Item 1 done.
So let's code our file content. Here we go. First line, my first app. And then BR. Second line, here is my second line. Third line, BR. And finally, fourth line. The file content is fine, but how do we know if it will look like we are expecting for? As we installed some extensions, we have this option here at the top. See? Show preview. If you click on it,
take that.
You can see how it will look in a browser. See? Let's focus on the code and hide the Explorer window. Very nice this tool, right? This preview window get updated in real time. For example, if you write some blah 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 here. See? The same happens if you erase, if you remove some content, see? Pretty much at the same time. Very nice, don't you agree? One last thing. Did you notice that I never said, hey, save the file. Hey, go to File menu and then Save option. It is because my autosave option is enabled. When this option is enabled, the file is saved to the disk whenever you change anything. But if you prefer, you can save the file manually whenever you want. Just disable the autosave option. When it's not enabled, whenever you change something, like type anything, you can see a white ball beside the file name that indicates the file is not saved. But what's interesting, in the preview window, even if the file is not saved, you still can see the changes right away. And then you still can see right away, but the file is not saved. To save the file, you can go to File menu and then Save, or use the hotkey. As soon as you save, you will no longer see the white ball beside the file's name. So you decide if you want to work with autosave or not.
Item 2 done.
Alright, now we have to write something in our HTML code that's not going to be visible in the browser, like this. Hey, tell me, how do you feel today? You can't see in the browser, no matter how many lines I can code. See, I can be a developer. We can't see anything in the browser. Even if I save the file or the autosave is enabled, you can't see anything. right? Even if I erase, nothing changes in the browser.
So the last item is done. Nice. Now let's talk about the concepts and theories that helped us to implement the project. We created a HTML file, but what is a HTML file? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Its latest version is 5. This is the language used to build web pages, no matter if it is a simple web page like this or a more complex one like this. How can we prove it? In any web page, you can right-click in the page and then an option like Inspect should be available. Click on it and then you're supposed to see something like this. This is HTML code, the HTML code of the page. Now let's go to the other page. Again, right-click and then Inspect. See? Again, HTML code. And what is that BR in the code? That BR is a HTML tag. Have you noticed a pattern in the HTML code we have just visited? So pretty much all those things are HTML tags. Now let me teach you the anatomy of a tag. Every HTML tag starts with an opening angle bracket. The next part is its name, and the last part is a closing angle bracket. There are over 140 HTML tags. They give you a wide range of features. The only HTML tag we used was the BR. It produces a simple line break in our page. In HTML, the file's line breaks are ignored. Let me show you. If I create some, see? Nothing changes. No matter how many line breaks. Watch this. A new crazy line here. In the file, there are many line breaks, but you can't see any line break in the browser. The fourth line and the crazy line are together in the browser. What makes a line break in the browser is the BR tag. For example, let me remove all of the line breaks and add a BR tag. Like this. In the file, there is no line break. Both fourth line and the crazy line are the same line in the file. But as there is a BR tag here, in the browser, you see a line break. How the BR tag worked in our page? In the first line, there is only one BR tag at the end. That's why you see here is my second line in another line in the browser. In the second line, we have two BR tags. The first one creates a line break at the end of the line. The second one creates a blank line. The first BR tag at the end of the third line creates a line break at the end of the line. And the last two BR tags create two line breaks between the third and the fourth line. Now, let me teach you why this green code here is not visible in the browser. This kind of code we call code comment. A code comment is a content that is ignored by the browser. Every programming language has code comments, and as we are coding with HTML, this is how we write code comments. This is how we start a comment, an opening angle bracket, an exclamation mark, and two dashes. And this is how we end a comment, or how we close a comment with two dashes and a closing angle bracket. If you want, you can have multiple comments in your code, like this, and again, not visible in the browser. But why am I learning HTML? That's why every program, every app has one or more features. Let me explain how a program feature works. Basically, there is an input. It is data are processed by the program and, of course, by the computer. The result of the processing is the output. Now, check out this concrete example. A program has a sum two numbers feature. The input are two numbers. In the processing, the sum is calculated. The output is a message with the result of the calculation. In our case, in our classes, the input and the output are going to be built in HTML. What about the processing, Yoshi? For that, you are going to use a programming language, JavaScript. In the upcoming classes, we are going to learn about JavaScript. What are the frequently asked questions and common mistakes for that project?
If the code comments are not visible in the browser, why should my code contain comments? The comments may contain technical messages like why you have implemented like you did, or what is missing in the code from this point. Comments may also contain notes and questions, mostly if you are a beginner at the likable software development world. You just started learning programming, so your code comments may contain important notes for you, important notes for your learning, like this. Let me close the preview here. This kind of note will be very helpful when you open your file after some days or weeks. Are code comments required? Definitely not. Yoshi, when am I going to learn about input elements? I mean, I would like to type something on the screen. I would like to provide a real input in my project. Don't worry about that yet, my friend. Watch out for anxiety. You are going to learn about that in the upcoming classes. Is it possible changing font color and size? Adding images or videos? Totally, my friend. You are going to learn about that in the upcoming classes. Yoshi, can I type a tag faster? I feel like I spend a lot of time typing a simple BR tag. Right, if you think it's going to be tiring every time typing open angle bracket, tag name, closing angle bracket, you are right. Imagine that you're going to type a lot of tags in your HTML file. So let's take advantage of a very interesting feature of VS Code. Whenever you want to type any tag, you can just type the tag's name, like this. BR. As you can see, the VS Code shows a suggestion here. You can accept the suggestion by clicking here or just push the return key. Take that! Very nice, don't you agree? Again, I want BR tag, so BR, and then I'm going to press return key. Ooh, daddy! Very nice. The same happens for any other tag you desire. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to show this feature a lot of times in the upcoming classes.
Feel free to write out a comment with questions, suggestions, or what else you want. Many thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you wanna thank me, just hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do believe you can code.